Hello, everybody. Welcome to False Reality Check. This is Buffalo Rambler.
And this is Legs.
We have another great one for you today. We got to talk to our friend Dan from the Cosmic Keys podcast.
Yeah, he's up in Colorado, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And he focuses mainly on astrology and tarot reading, right?
Yes.
He does some of those.
The art of tarot.
He does a lot of that, but at the moment, he might be questioning those things, as you'll hear in our conversation. He's kind of debating between Christianity and, I don't want to say the occult, but New Age is what he phrases it as.
Yeah.
New Age beliefs.
And it's kind of a blanket statement, I guess. And all of that, he goes into it a little bit, but he talks about how it's kind of how it has a basis in the occult.
Yeah.
And so, does that path, even though you may not intend to, does it lead you down, the dark path towards like the devil?
Yeah. So it's interesting to hear his struggle. And he brought some things to my attention that I didn't think about as I'm trying going on my spiritual journey, but of course I still think intention has a lot to do with everything.
Definitely.
But yeah, Dan is a really cool guy. We also got into some music talk near the end.
Yeah, it was awesome. He's a musician as well.
Yes, he is. He plays in a bluegrass band.
Yeah, Moonstone Quill. Check it out.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
No, cool guy, cool conversation. The audio will be free.
Yes, the audio will be free for everybody to listen, and the video will be released early on Rockfin for all of you premium subscribers. It'll be premium for 30 days until 30 days after the audio has been released. And then we'll release it for everybody. So Rockfin's similar to like YouTube, except you have to sign up. And we just we were able to get on, and we're going to use this thing as much as we can. Yeah,
so that'll be our route in terms of the videos now. They will be on Rockfin. Yeah. And you'll have to subscribe. Please subscribe through us.
Yeah, if you can.
$9.99 a month, and you get a bunch of content.
And we're also going to start to do like some live stream stuff, and besides early releases, and we can post articles on there as well.
Of course, yeah. So to be continued.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff incoming.
But yeah.
I don't know if we have anything else we want to say.
No, we'll have some big announcements coming up, but we'll let you guys know in further episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for now, enjoy our conversation with Dan.
Yeah. And in this conversation with our friend Dan from the Cosmic Keys podcast, we explored the struggle that we have between the New Age and modern Christianity. Are New Age beliefs a portal to the dark path? Is the only way to truth through one faith? Is it more about intent and what's in your heart? These, along with more tough questions, are discussed in literally an earth-shaking interview. Literally, there was an earthquake during this interview. In an honest conversation, Dan brings us into his world a bit, and we truly appreciate his honesty and authenticity as we navigate this false reality. So please welcome our friend Dan from the Cosmic Keys podcast.
Alrighty. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
Y'all.
No problem.
So, hello. I'm just checking things on my end.
Yeah. Can you hear us just fine?
Yeah, I had like my audio or my like input was correct on with my audio interface, and then I had the wrong thing for what I was hearing. So
for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on and everything. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on to False Reality Check and joining us.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, we were listening to a little Moonstone Quill before you came on.
Oh, God. Nice. Hell yeah. Thanks for peeping it, I
Oh
guess.
man, no, it's good stuff. Bluegrass has grown on me for sure.
Oh, nice.
In the past, if it didn't make me want to break shit or move, I didn't want to hear it, you know. But these days, I'm just like the chill mentality, the violin of that music, and it just vibrates my soul. I love it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Very uniquely American art form, I think. Very uniquely American.
Well, like as you saw with the songs I put on, it's not the music I like listen to all the time, but it's like easy to play, or easy for me to play and write and do. So it's just like the default thing, but it's not necessarily what I listen to much at all. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I'm not like only into that, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. So. Same here.
Yeah. We're into a little bit of everything, it seems like, except mumble rap and like modern country. I can't do modern country. You know, like the Nashville sound.
Yeah.
I don't dig
exactly. That. Like Florida Georgia line.
Yeah. No. You can't do that. I can't go for that at all. No.
Yeah.
It's too like American Idol kind of country, and I don't like that. I prefer like an older, like Merle Haggard or like Willie Nelson. You know, like older Willie Nelson, not newer Willie Nelson. But that's what I prefer if I'm gonna listen to country. I like bluegrass. I'm kind of surprised you're getting into it.
Yeah, I know you know me better than anyone, so I'm sure it's surprising.
Yeah.
So you play guitar in that band, right? And you also you do some like background vocals.
I do. So I play mainly like rhythm guitar.
Okay.
And in this band, Moonstone Quill, it's me on rhythm guitar and vocal, and I write some of the songs too.
Nice.
And then it's kind of like me and my friend Nate are like the two vocalists. And he plays the mandolin, and he also plays guitar too, but in this band he mainly plays mandolin, and like he's really good at soloing and jamming, and he's really good at that, and I'm more just like I can write and sing and hold the rhythm. So I would like to get better at like soloing and doing all of that. And then we have Maureen, who plays the violin, and she's like a prodigy. And we never have to practice. She just hops on and is like, what key is this in? And then just starts kind of like going.
Oh, wow.
And then we have like two different guys that sit in with us and do stand-up bass. So we are like kind of a rotating lineup, but it's mainly me and Nate who are kind of like holding it down. And it's usually the two of us and then some iteration of like other people. But it's super fun. We're playing a show. We're playing a wedding tomorrow in Boulder. So that's what I got wrong with the scheduling on this. Because I thought it was today, and then it wasn't. And so, yeah.
It's all good.
No, it's all good. When did you, have you always been into strings, or have you played any of the other kinds of instruments like brass or woodwinds or anything?
So I was forced to learn piano when I was a kid, from like first grade to fifth grade, I think. And I hated it. And my parents were like, you'll thank us someday, blah, blah, blah. And then I actually like kind of I'm 34. I think I'm the same age as you guys, or one of you.
Yeah. We're 33. We're 33. So pretty much.
Okay, yeah. So we graduated high school in 06.
That's right.
Yep.
We're special. We're special, right? Yeah. That's what they told us in the
90s. They sure love saying that.
Yeah. But I didn't start trying to play guitar until I was 24. And then just kind of in my 20s took lessons and like was obsessed with it and started writing a lot. And I was in Chicago at that point, and I was just like going to open mics and being like, I'm a singer-songwriter, you know, and like doing that and hanging out with like the DIY people who like didn't really give a shit about bluegrassy, folky styles. They were more into like art school, like punk, noise, hip hop, all like experimental stuff. But then when I moved to Colorado, everybody here is into this style. So it's like so much easier. I was just like show up and people are like, you're amazing, like you're great. And people in Chicago were just like, het cis white male. Next. Not hit cis, het cis.
Yes. While they wave their guns around in anger.
Because it is Chicago. There's a lot of shooting.
Well, yeah, the Chicago scene that I was like trying to be a part of, but never quite fit in with, was like really liberal, really art schooly, and really into like identity politics. So I still, it was a great experience, but I never really fit in with that. And then when I moved out here, it was like so natural, so easy. And I'm just like, I love it. And I still like, I have the podcast, and then I have a day job too. So sometimes I'm just like, I don't have enough time to also be in a band, but I was trying way harder in Chicago and be like trying to fit in with like too cool for school people.
Yeah.
And like failed. And here I'm like barely trying. I'm like just like showing up, and it's fun, and people are like, your music changed my life. I'm like, damn. Like COVID must have really deprived people, because they're really into it. So I'm grateful for it, but like the attitude I've had like back in Chicago, I was like, I have to be an artist. Like I can't have a day job. Like I have to be an artist. And now I'm like a little older, and just like, I totally threw that mentality out the window. And now I like get paid to be an artist for the first time. And when I was like taking it so seriously in Chicago, it kind of didn't really work out. So interesting how that works out, I guess.
Yeah. You're where you're supposed to be, it seems.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I hope. Yeah. It seems that way.
Yeah.
You absorbed a little bit of the different, I guess, perspective through cultural osmosis. Like the culture was different over there, so you had a different perspective, and over here you have a much more open perspective. It's like totally different, but the cultures are different in both places too.
Totally. And it was like, unfortunately, like when I was in Chicago, I was taking lessons, and I also was doing like improv classes for a while. I just got sucked into like these like schools. Like I learned music at the Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago. So that was just kind of where I signed up, and I found a teacher that was like a vocal teacher and a guitar teacher. And I was working a job where I was like getting all these downloads and like coming up with these song ideas. And I would just show up to her and be like, hey, I'm working out through this song. And she would kind of be like helping me write, sort of. But at that point I was just totally solo and everything. But I kind of found the scene I was involved in 2015/16. And so for like 2 years, I was like a Bernie bro with like all these like DIY hipster people.
Same.
And
for sure.
Unfortunately, like as I got like, I really don't like going with the crowd, but I was trying to go with that crowd. And like gradually I was like, this is actually really toxic. Like the identity politics, just seeing the way people were posting on social media, I was like, this ain't it. But I was like secretly just like gathering info on like what the values were of all of that. And then I just got like red pilled by that. I was just like, wait, no, the top dogs in this scene are like really trying to do communism.
Yeah.
And it trickles down from that. And it's just such bad vibes. And it sucks too, because like so much of the art or the talent or like the dedication gets thrown out with that. Like they would be like, you know, like black trans to the front of the line, you know, like it was literally like they were like, we need POC trans people in this like underground show lineup, you know. And I would just kind of like, I was cool with all these people, because I was like, oh yeah, these are my people, like these are the freaks, these are like the artists and stuff. But I saw those like outsiders just get kind of like eaten alive by identity politics and Marxism, I would say. So I've got mad love for all those types of people who are still on that track, but I was on that track for like not that long, and I was just like, this is insane. I'm sorry. Like I knew it was insane, but I was kind of like virtue signaling and playing the game for about a year. And it's interesting how that worked out, I guess.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I've never played any type of instrument, unfortunately. The closest I got was the recorder in second grade.
Nice.
Did you have to do that? That was like a part of my curriculum.
We're the same age. Like it all hit us all at once. It was the recorder and all that.
So that was like across the US, like standard curriculum, I guess, for second graders.
It sounds like it, yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, that was kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
That's probably some unknown ritual we didn't even know about. Who knows?
We were playing some like summoning song for some weird demon somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I love music. I love listening to music. I love going to shows. But unfortunately, I never picked up any strings or anything.
Should have been a geek like me and joined band. I just wanted to get out of PE, you know. So
what did you play in band?
My main instrument was the tenor sax. And then I played a little drums, like percussion section, and then not the set. I wasn't really good at the set. Maybe like a 4-piece, but nothing bigger than that. And then I would play a little piano, but I don't read music well for the piano. I can read it just fine for like woodwinds, but for the piano, I was never into it. And then in high school, I went from band in junior high. I was a geek from 6th grade all the way to like sophomore year in high school, maybe junior year in high school. I was like first chair, like then drum major in high school. I brought the marching band back. I was big time into music, and then I just couldn't do it anymore because the director, I guess, he was just really into fusion, like Afro fusion music. Not that I don't have anything against Afro fusion music. It's great, and some have great beats, and I could totally listen and vibe with that. But just every song, it's like, come on, can we play like I remember like we got a Tower of Power song, so Very Hard to Go.
Nice.
And when he brought that in, I was like, we're actually gonna get to play this? Like, you're gonna let us play this? This isn't Afro-Cuban. Like, that's cool. And he's like, oh, this is a great song. I was like, no, I know it's a great song. That's why I'm surprised. But that was like the stretchiest we got. It was mostly Afro-Cuban, and he would like put it into the band, like the main band, not just like the jazz band to the side. So after I think junior year or sophomore year, I was just like, no, I can't do it anymore. Then we started dating, and she just took me to shows, and I kept with music, but I don't play it anymore.
Wait, so you guys started dating when you were in high school?
Senior year.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah. We went to middle school together, but we didn't like officially start dating till senior year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're from California, right?
Yes.
Both grew up in the same area.
Yeah, born and raised. Trying to get out though.
Yeah.
Trying to get to Idaho.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll meet you there if Colorado goes commie. I don't know if it will or not, but it's very similar to Cali. Like a lot of Cali people come here. I went to school at CU Boulder, and a lot of my friends were from California. So like a lot of the there's just like a lot of California people that are in Colorado, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went to Denver a couple years ago just to check it out and visit a friend. And seems like everyone we talked to was from California.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm from Yorba Linda, or I'm from Northern California.
Yeah,
everybody was from California. It was kind of weird.
It was pretty crazy. So definitely.
I'm like, we have weed here too. You don't have to go to Colorado. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it seemed like there weren't people from Colorado. But that's the same for, I don't know if you've ever like come to like Los Angeles area. Everybody in LA is kind of a transplant. Like everybody that's from here, nobody's from here. Everybody just comes here.
Yeah.
So
totally.
There's places like that. It's like Casablanca everywhere in a way, Well,
that's cool.
Yeah.
But so the music scene where you're at, is it are things opening up now? Or you're able to go to shows? I remember, I forgot what episode I was listening to, but you did like a crazy mushroom trip during a show that you
Oh
were
yeah.
at, and I was
That's
like,
awesome.
damn, that's pretty brave. I don't know if I could. I can be on an edible, pretty high dose edible, but mushrooms, I don't know. It's pretty
Yeah,
intense.
that was that. Well, it's funny that that was the string cheese incident. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
String
Like
I know who
cheese.
that is.
jam band.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man. For sure.
but like I was super into that stuff when I was a teenager in high school. Like in Chicago, just like I saw string cheese when I was a junior in high school, and I took mushrooms for the second time there, and it was on Halloween.
Oh man.
And that was just like, well, string cheese incident is very like psychedelic friendly. Like it's kind of like the Grateful Dead, where there's like a lot, and there's like hippies being like Molly, shrooms, edibles. Like at least back in like I saw them in there. Then that was in like 2004, and it was like a really good trip because string cheese is just like lovey-dovey. It's not lovey-dovey. It's just positive. It's like a safe. It's safe music to trip to, where it's like a lot of rock and roll goes like down the dark path, and you start having like an intense bad trip or something. But like that was like selling me on psychedelics back then, and it just like opened me up, and I was like obsessed with jam bands and tripping and stuff like that. And that's kind of what brought me to Colorado, honestly, because there's a lot of that scene in Boulder back then too. And then in college, I really got into like pitchfork music. I was just like, oh, I'm done with the hippie shit. Cause I mean, it does get old. It is kind of just like, you have to be on drugs to like this music. And I was also going through more like a moody period of my life, because I had like a really bad injury in college, a snowboarding accident. And so I remember in college, I was just like listening to like Animal Collective, or just like more moody, like heady, like sad music, I guess. So then from from college until Pitchfork became kind of obsolete, I was listening to like pitchfork music, so like indie music. And then when I just started learning music, I was just learning how to play guitar. Folk was just like, I learned it at the Old Town School of Folk, so now I just play folk music. But to bring it back to that recent time I took shrooms at that string cheese show, they played it just in I live in Breckenridge, Colorado, so that show was at Dillon, and on that day I was like so tired and was just like, oh, like I'm gonna try to sell my ticket. Like I'm too old for this shit. And I showed up and like tried to sell it, and it was raining. But I had these shrooms sitting around that my roommate gave me when we moved. He was like, "Do you want these?" I was like, "I'll take them. I'm sure I'll want them at some point." And then I couldn't sell the ticket, and I was just like, all right, I'm down the hatch, and I just ate them. And then it was kind of like the same thing the first time I tripped to string cheese in 2004, where it's just like, this music is really good on psychedelics, and it's really like safe. It's like they go from like bluegrassy to like electronica to like Caribbean, and it's just like hippy dippy dancing. So that's how that went. But I'm kind of not, I still love psychedelics, I guess. But like I said, I'm getting kind of old to just be doing them
for sure
all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole thing. Like we have to set a day aside if we're going to trip, you know?
Well,
right.
on the acid, yeah.
Well, yeah, if we're doing that. Yeah. Mushrooms, not so much.
Maybe not a whole day. But I don't know. I kind of like, do you have like a preferred time of day? I kind of feel like nighttime is a better time to trip, almost.
Well, I guess I was taking a lot of shrooms during COVID, because everything got locked down, and I just moved to Breckenridge and had my one friend who introduced me to a lot of friends from South America. They're from like Argentina, because Argentina has like ski resorts there. It's like near Patagonia, or Patagonia is part of Argentina. Yeah. So they have ski resorts, and there's people that there's a lot of Latin American people in Breckenridge where I live. And my one friend that introduced me to them was like, I'm locking myself down. I'm social distancing. I'm not doing anything. And these guys were like, bro, come to my house. We're going to have like a party. And it was just like a bunch of dudes, and they were playing their like, it's like techno music. Yeah. And we were literally, we just had like the lights low, and we were on shrooms, and I was just like lying on a hardwood floor, just like tripping. And
nice.
And you just kind of like let it flow over you. Yeah. And so hanging out with them during COVID was, I get like during that period, I actually was doing that a lot, but I didn't have a job, and I was just kind of whatever. And in my head, I was like, I'm processing this trauma or whatever, but it's not really. We were just kind of partying. And I did have like mostly good trips at that time, but I had a couple like weird dark trips too. And that's kind of a side subject, is kind of like what you can potentially be opening yourself up to with doing psychedelics or the occult in general. Like, you don't know what doors you're opening or portals you're opening. And actually recently I'm having kind of like a reconsideration of everything new age, everything occult, everything woo-woo and spiritual, psychedelics, astrology, meditation, yoga. I'm just like, I've been doing that's been my bread and butter for years. Now I'm questioning it because the world is so fucked up right now, and I'm putting all that stuff through the ringer. And it's kind of, I would say it's insane, but I feel very stable in the way I'm doing it. I'm kind of just like weighing things out and trying to sort things out and compartmentalize things. But I'm kind of giving myself like an esoteric detox at the moment. And like I even like quit smoking weed this week. We'll see how long it lasts. But I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like today I'm just like, have a very different attitude, but I can recollect as much as we want on the wild stuff like that, I guess. But
for sure. Yeah. I know you've been struggling. I've been watching your astrology forecast.
Yeah.
I didn't see one for this week, so I was like, okay, he's still thinking about it.
But your last one was dead on, by the way. I'm just letting you know, because you said Thursday something was going to happen, and look what happened on Thursday, the mandate thing. So, you know, I get it, and I know you're struggling. I just you bring a lot of joy with your astrology and your readings to people, and I guess I'm wondering what are you having a hard time with on everything? Because it seems like there's so much up in the air with all of us right now, not just this.
I would give credit to Kara Mosher for getting me on this track, which is an unlikely person because she's so a ball of positive energy. Yeah. And like we've become like good internet friends. Like we like keep in touch and stuff. But I might use this show as kind of an opportunity to sort this out because I've kind of been personally going through it. And today, and especially right now at this time of the day, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine. But when I woke up this morning, I was like, biblical Dan, you know? So I'm literally compartmentalizing the Bible and the God of the Old Testament and Christianity with everything else that is spiritual, or I just call everything else New Age, where there's like no rules. It's occult, mystical, magical, and just like do what thou wilt, kind of like Crowley,
yeah.
who I don't like. So, but Kara, just had, I think she's talked about it on her show and on her social media, but she had like a Jesus experience. And I even remember she posted, like, cause she does like channeling, and she's like talking to she's very psychic and talking to guides and channeling and stuff. And then I think in her case, one day Jesus appeared, and she was just like kind of caught off guard. She started having a relationship with Jesus in some type of way, but she hasn't gone full Christian, and neither have I. But and she made a post where she was like crying, and I was like, this, whatever she's going through is very real.
Yeah.
Right.
I have not had that experience. I haven't had like a come to Jesus experience, but because of Kara going on that track, she got me thinking, like, when people say Jesus Christ, or when people talk about Jesus, I was like, am I triggered by this? Do I hate to hear that? And if I do, that's fucked up. It's like, what type of demons do I got if I get triggered by that? Yeah. And I, for the record, didn't get triggered by that. And I'm thinking, like, that's a good thing. Like, I'm not triggered by that. Yeah. What else can I look into with this? And so then I started following, there's another woman who had her new age to Jesus. She had a full-blown conversion. And I just couldn't look away from her stuff. Her name used to be Quantum Cassie. Okay. And so I didn't follow her when she was into the new age stuff, but she was into the new age stuff and was like, that was her job. Like, she was a professional channeler or psychic or coach or something, which is like a big critique of all of this stuff, is like, you're making money off of these spiritual things. Right. Yeah. You can't really do that. Well, I guess you can do that in Christianity, but like, it's like, she had this like big come to Jesus moment. And I couldn't look away from her, and I still can't look away from her, because she has all of the, like, she was into all the stuff that I was into, like yoga, meditation, everything Eastern, Kundalini, and the occult. Like, I'm really, at the end of the day, well-versed in the occult. And astrology is just like an aspect of the occult. So when I was following Cassie, I was seeing her critiques of the new age. And I don't think of the stuff we're doing as the new age, but now I actually do, because it really is kind of compartmentalized. And she was critiquing all of the stuff about the new age. She was just talking about, like I guess to backtrack, my story really, I kind of hinted, I had an injury in college. I broke my neck snowboarding when I was a sophomore in college. Had all these insane, almost like near-death experience, spiritual experiences. And doing yoga totally like healed me, and boom, like opened me up to like these like mystical, supernatural experiences. And it almost like unlocked these like psychic occult abilities within myself. And at the time I was just like, this is real spirituality, because I feel this, this is experience, versus like just reading the Bible. You're kind of, it's abstract, or it's just like mental. That's what it seemed like. It's like, I'm feeling high off spirituality. So this is good. And to bring it back to Cassie, she's kind of just compartmentalizing the new age, which is on one side, and Christianity, which is on this other side. And her critiques of the new age from her Christian perspective, I was like, she's freaking right. There's narcissism. Oh, yeah. There's immaturity. Oh. There's just like, you're perfect. Like, and all of this is like, including astrology and including the stuff I do, it's more popular with women. And so it's easy to like shoot it down, but like, even just like, I'm sorry, like, I don't necessarily think doing a bunch of yoga and having a bunch of mystical experiences and getting high on ayahuasca, or not just getting high, but having an ayahuasca trip. I don't know if any of this stuff really makes you like a better person. And that was what kind of made the light bulb go off in my head. I'm like, yeah, this new age spirituality is more of a rush, and it's more exciting, it's more thrilling, it's more experiential, and it's amazing, and it's like thrilling, and it's awesome, it's like fun, but it's like an up and down roller coaster, and it's just like never ending. It's just like, ooh, crystals over here, ooh, astrology over here, tarot cards. And she and all throughout the time, she's like really quoting the Bible and has like a basically like an evangelical perspective. Like, the Bible is everything. Just read the Bible. Don't read any other book from a new age bookstore. Everything you need to know is in the Bible. The only truth is Jesus. Jesus is it. There's no search. There's nothing but Jesus. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not really there, but the critiques of the new age really, really hit home with me. And I'm just like really thinking about stuff. Like, I broke my neck. I did yoga to heal it, but it's just like, what did I actually do? What did I do when I like activated these abilities or whatever? And I'm not even saying like I am a psychic, I have these magical abilities, but like when you get into yoga and like really kind of like activate your chakras or whatever, I'm starting to question that. I'm just like, what is that? Is that making, first of all, is it making me a better person? I don't know whether or not it is. I'm seeing it more where like the new age stuff gives you a direct mystical experience, which is great. And of course that's appealing. It's like taking drugs, honestly. But is that, it's spiritual because it's metaphysical, but I'm just like, I'm honestly questioning, like, does that just make you sort of worship yourself and worship just like the world? Like, it can turn you into a huge narcissist, and you're just like, I manifested this, like, this is my truth. Like, I am manifesting money. And it's just, I'm looking at it and it's kind of like gross. And I know it's like really popular in our sphere. And I have a podcast I've had a podcast for almost 3 years, basically talking about all that stuff. And the stuff on my podcast, like, I used to have a co-host who was like a witch, and I would go like down the dark paths to him. Like, I was down for like the spooky Scorpio, like really shadowy stuff. Cause it's, I'm sorry, it's thrilling to me. It always has been. So where I'm at now, and I didn't put a forecast out this week. And I didn't put the forecast out, not because I'm like I'm going to hell for this. Like, that was not why. I just, unfortunately, with this new perspective, which is very kind of fresh, have just been like, this ain't it. I don't want to do this. Like, and I know, and even you said, like, when you give your forecasts, like, it's like a joy to hear them. It's exciting. It's like magical. It's experiential. It's great. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, or I'm not saying everything new age is the devil, although that is the Christian argument. And I'm at least considering that now. And now that so where I'm at with it, the reason I didn't do a forecast this week is because the past couple weeks, like, I am busy. I remember I recorded a forecast like drunk because I had a show.
I saw that one.
And I was just like, I have to do this damn forecast. Yeah. Like, this is the astrology, guys. And then I like showed up to the week after that, and I was just like, I just like wasn't feeling it. And I want to like do it for the love of the audience and stuff, but like on a personal level, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm like, this is like a chore. Whereas before it was just like, it probably is for the audience who wants it. For me, it was thrilling. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, Thursday, wake up. Like, Thursday, we got this going on. Like, get ready. And more recently, I just like stare at the chart and I'm just like, I don't fucking care. And so I'm just being like transparent. I'm not, I'm not like, I renounce astrology and all of this, which is like what the Christians want you to do. And I'm not even like making fun of that, because I am considering that might happen to me given enough examination. And I'm calling it wrestling, because I'm literally like waking up. Like I fell asleep last night watching this Christian account where they just go through all the reasons why yoga is demonic. And I'm like, there are some good arguments in there. Actually, there actually are.
Yeah.
And I, for the record, I don't do yoga or meditation anymore. I'm not saying I never will again, but I just don't. But like, for example, like I'm saying, last night I fell asleep. Like before falling asleep, I was watching all this Christian content about how the New Age is demonic. And then I wake up kind of being like, okay, maybe the New Age is demonic. And then I'll listen to a podcast where it's like a pagan person. I'm like, this shit is tight. Like, I still like this stuff. So at the very least, I'm compartmentalizing it into two groups, because the really interesting thing too, which I didn't really know, is like the Old Testament of the Bible kind of makes it somehow makes like a genealogical explanation for how all of paganism came to be, sort of. So like I'm trying to comprehend like what the argument is for what this stuff is, for like what the Old Testament God is, what the claim is of Jesus being the Messiah, like what, like the prophecy and all of this stuff. I'm trying to actually just read the Bible to know if I believe it or not, I guess. And so, and it's funny too, like back in 2017, there were some other big New Age people who came to the forefront and renounced the New Age and became like evangelical Christians. And back then I was listening to what they said, and it was just like, holy shit, like I'm going to hell. Like I had that thought for a minute, then just realized like, I don't resonate with these people and I don't resonate with this. So I just dismissed it. This time around, it's not just Cassie, who I mentioned, but there are a lot of people on social media who really lived the New Age the way I have too. So they're like, I feel like these are my people just by the fact that we have, like, I've been into this stuff for over 10 years, for like 10 or 11 years at the end of the day. And it was like, I just like got sucked into it and just followed it and was following it because I'm passionate about it, following my bliss. And now that I'm seeing people who are in the same shoes as me, having literally considering themselves being saved, you know, in a Christian way, I at least relate to them more, and I see them in a good place with this conversion. Like they don't seem like paranoid or like fun. They just seem like happy with what they did. So I'm drawn to it, and I'm sort of forcing myself to, I mean, I haven't done a ton of reading of the Bible yet, but it's a very slow, steady, not fearful, not paranoid process that I'm going through, where I'm like, okay, I love all this quote unquote New Age stuff, but if I'm gonna like if I'm gonna reject Christianity, I need to actually know what I'm rejecting before I can fully reject it. Or if I'm rejecting the New Age for Christianity, I need to really think about why I'm doing that. And to be honest, there's way more things for the New Age that I feel like I am rejecting. Like so much of the history of it, it's like so much of it was brought to the forefront by like really kind of what I perceive as sinister people, like Helena Blavatsky, who did like the Theosophical Society. Like that brought us Nazi Germany straight up. So we have to talk about that, because she brought all of these Eastern ideas, which are associated with like, and they call it, the crazy thing is you can put a huge umbrella over all of it and just call it Luciferian. And with me being like a huge conspiracy head since like the 2000s, with like Alex Jones, he'd be like the Luciferians, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, am I a Luciferian by default? So like, I don't want to be, but is this stuff Luciferian? It sounds crazy, but so I'm really just like putting him into two groups, and I have to decide at a certain point whether I'm like a Gnostic or a Luciferian, I guess. Like, and that sounds crazy, and I want to say no, I'm not a Luciferian, but if I'm doing these practices all the time, I might be one by definition without wanting to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
And like the huge thing really that that also made a light bulb go off in my head about it is just like with the new age where there's just like there's no good and evil, there's no good and evil. That's like a fundamental thing you kind of have to believe. I don't believe that in 2021 when I see all this evil around. And it's not just like evil, this is wrong. It's I see demons in people. Like I literally see like the Antifa BLM people, or just like the masked vaxxed people. Like there's something really sinister happening. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm a new ager and I'm just like, it's all good, man. Like, no, like love and light, just think positive, manifest. I feel like that could be like a cosmic conspiracy to let all of this shit happen, because it seems, I will say this week, I feel like I'm getting more hope seeing things in the news. Like I think there are more people rejecting the agenda. There are more people rejecting this New World Order thing, but it was kind of a light bulb moment. I'm like, if this spiritual stuff that I'm promoting is at the end of the day promoting like a do what thou wilt philosophy, or there's no such thing as good and evil, I don't believe that, because I see evil everywhere. So like I said, I'm not renouncing anything. I'm not stopping astrology because I'm afraid. Last week I stopped astrology just because I didn't give a fuck about it, unfortunately. Which is hard to say, because I mean at the end of the day, I'm doing this for fun anyways. My show is not that big. This is not my career, and I don't want it to be my career. I'm not, and so that's kind of where I'm at. That was kind of a long rant.
No,
that's all good.
That makes sense. I would say you sound like you're Bible curious.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
And I
was raised Catholic too, and Catholicism, it's funny too, from the Christian perspective that I'm seeing, it's like Catholics are the occult too. And I'm like, we kind of are, you know, like I was an altar boy, like shaking the incense and lighting the candle. And I was like, let's get this funeral going.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a spell here. And that's kind of why that's like fundamentally a part of my psyche. But I've seen evangelical type videos that lay out every single reason why Catholicism is just paganism. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like the Virgin Mary is basically a goddess. But then the big thing for me is like, well, okay, if Catholicism is just paganism, then did they just make up Christianity, or did it, like, how do the evangelicals just dismiss the whole foundation of Christianity being very occulted like that? And there's even like authors who've made it a case that I think it's Joseph Atwill. He wrote this book called Caesar's Messiah, who said that Christianity was just basically like a Roman conspiracy. A part of me thinks that too, but I don't know. I probably sound like a crazy person, but I promise I'm just like, you know, like I said this morning, I was on the Christian side. Today I'm drinking a beer, just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, but it is like this compartmentalization that I wouldn't even say I'm struggling with it. I'm just slowly working with it. And I will admit I'm trying to pray more. And what I'm praying for is to see the truth and to be eased into the truth. So I'm not like so I'm not shattered by the truth, you know? And I don't know if the truth is going to be like, hey, it's everything. Like these two paradigms coexist. That's reality. Like there is the side of you that needs to be like the Christian, like good and evil, heaven and hell, that needs to coexist with the kind of Luciferian, like evolve yourself or like work on yourself or worship yourself. So that's kind of where I'm at. And you guys are the first people I've kind of other than like a few internet friends, this is the first podcast I've kind of talked about it. So
I'm glad you're talking about it. I feel the same way in a way, because I have so many friends, people that we met on the podcast that are devout Christians, and I love Christian people. I think Jesus is a swell guy. I have no problem with Jesus. I have no problem with the Bible. In fact, I think everybody should read the Bible because it has so many great stories in it that apply to your life. Yeah. And if you apply them correctly and you live correctly, yes, you will be a great and a good person like Christ was. And I think that's the whole point. And I struggle with this sometimes too, because, you know, my parents are still Christian. I wouldn't even consider myself New Age. I agree with you, man. There is evil. There is good. There is evil. Yeah. I don't know if I believe in a hell. I definitely do believe in an afterlife. And part of me really believes in reincarnation. And because of that I can't be a Christian, because the whole epistemology is entirely different. Yeah. And that's the reason that keeps me in two worlds, where I feel like I have to form my own spirituality. Exactly. That builds upon everything that I've learned, applies the good and subtracts the bad. And where I have to, you know, I'm not a big follower of astrology. I do like your readings. I like other people's readings. Chance is he does really good readings as well. But I think astrology has an important role, because I do think, you know, the sun and the moon and the stars are like a clock, and maybe our lives are dictated by that and the seasons. And I do really wholeheartedly believe that God created all of this for us, and he created each and every one of us to experience life fully and to become actual whole people. And if that's through Christianity, that's fantastic. If that's through, you know, New Age stuff, I think as long as you keep it in the good, that's good too. And, you know, Islam, Judaism, whatever you were born, whatever you choose, I'm totally all for that. And I think we can all coexist just fine, because we're all patient with each other. We just need to be kind to each other. That's all. But I struggle just like you, because the Bible is a great book, man. I'm not going to lie. I do catch myself going back and reading it from time to time, different pieces here and there. And I'm glad you're, you know, I hate to see you struggle with this, but I'm glad you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not even it has been a struggle in my past for sure, where I'm just like, I mean, there's been really intense moments in my younger years, because like I said, most of my story comes down to having like a traumatic, almost near-death experience and then getting to come back to life. And then that was super intense, just to be like, you got to keep living, or you at least got, since I broke my neck, it's like, you're not paralyzed. What are you going to do with that? And so it was just like, I have to follow my dreams. I have to be an artist. Every day is precious. And it was like this, like, valuing life on this earth with this life that I got a second chance at, or whatever. And that's beautiful, you know? And that was like, that's my spirituality. But like, even now with like the different Christian perspective, which I'm bringing in or integrating or whatever, this is the craziest thing I think I saw. It was like, it was like two columns. Like one was kind of New Age and one was kind of Christian. One was like, follow your dreams, follow your heart, like do what feels right. And then the other one was like, be a good person, worship God, or like pray to God, read the Bible. Or it was like the following your dreams and following your heart might not be the best advice, which kind of blew my mind because first of all, we were raised on that, especially like us, like our age group.
Yeah.
We were raised by the new age hippie boomers in one way or the other. And that's kind of a lot of our problems because like, I remember when we were kids, like, okay, we all had talents, we all had gifts or whatever. But like, I think so many boomer parents like seriously inflated the egos of millennial kids in the 90s, or just were like, you guys are so special, like just follow your heart, follow your dreams. Like that's what I did that. And now I'm 34 and I've lived a messy life, a very messy life. And I don't have any regrets per se, but I'm just like, damn, if I would have just like for example, when I moved to Colorado, I started like working real full-time jobs. Whereas in Chicago, I was like, I'm an artist. Like I'm going to like freelance and like drive Uber and do this and that and the other. And it didn't make me happier, and it didn't make my art any better at the end of the day. So I'm questioning like these really new agey fundamental ideas. Like I'm not just rejecting all of this stuff, like work on yourself, know yourself, do the work. That's the other interesting thing between Christianity and New Age. New Age is like, do the work, do the shadow work, do the meditation, read the books. And Christianity is just like, show up, or just like wake up, pray, go to church on Sunday and pray.
Have faith.
And it's like, that's what is the appeal. And I see it. I see the light in Christians that are doing that. It's like, you don't have to, this is what the Cassie is keeping, or she keeps saying, you know, you don't have to, she calls it the hamster wheel. Like, it's like you, and I love the hamster wheel because I love the thrill of it all. And the Zodiac is a hamster wheel, but so it's like the New Age is like more like a lust, and to a Christian, lust is bad, you know, but it's like, I'm alive right now. This makes me feel alive. I'm on fire, you know, I'm passionate. And the Christian thing is like, I'm at peace. I'm just like happy. There's no searching. I have the answer. It's really simple. His name is Jesus Christ. And like, it sounds corny, and I have not accepted or rejected one or the other. I'm just putting them into two categories and really looking at each and being like, how does this apply to myself, or how do I use both maybe? But I will say it's really hard to use both because they really are contradictory. But I'm just glad that I'm not freaking out, because when all of a sudden you're like, everything I've done is the devil, that's not a fun place to be.
No, for sure. I think it has to do also with intent. I mean, I'm not super well versed in the New Age whole, you know, pantheon of belief, but I think it does have to do a lot with intent.
Yeah.
And if you seem like you're doing it with a positive intent, it doesn't seem like it's devilly or Luciferian or anything like that. But something you said earlier that I'm kind of curious about is, you said it's kind of more simple, but I think that's the surface view. I think and this is and I say this purely because I used to be a Christian, and I know a lot of Christians who are devout Christians. They practice what they preach. And I mean, we met a few on the show, and being a good Christian is a lot of work. It's
for sure.
Hard
Yes.
work, because you have to really, it's more important than to act Christian. You have to be Christ-like, and to be Christ-like is very hard for everybody,
especially these days.
Yeah.
With these demons all around you.
Exactly.
It's hard.
I know, right? I'm grateful. I really give props to, I want to give props to Kara Mosher and to this girl, Cassie, who I just like follow. And Cassie, you know, she does not, there's no space for the New Age, period. But at least now I can see it from that side. And for however I continue this stuff, it's at least I'm questioning it, because I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't thinking that basically a new age bookstore, all the different categories, all the different modalities and things you can like research or practice or try out, they could just all be Luciferian, which is, I don't wholeheartedly believe that, but by definition, it might be. So
that's true.
That's kind of a scary thing to admit, because who the hell wants to be like, I'm a Luciferian? That's creepy, you know? Yeah.
That's like a
I'm thinking it's like, what is the difference between this like rush spirituality, this like I'm having paranormal experiences or psychic or prophetic, or like what I'm doing on my show is semi-prophetic. It's weird. And I'm from my point of view, and I'm doing it, I'm babbling, and I'm just like, I know the definitions, I'm decoding this, and I'm not even really thinking about what I'm saying. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that now that I think about it that way. So
do you think it's like channeling more?
I mean, that's what I'm questioning about it. And half the time, and I will say too, like I struggle. I get anxiety and stress giving readings to people, because I'm so skeptical of it. And I'm just waiting for them to like roll their eyes and be like, okay. And I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm just like, and then I just start kind of babbling, and that kind of is channeling in a weird way. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it definitely like opens things up within you. But I'm like, okay, what am I opening up? Do we want to open that up, or should we leave that shut? You know? Yeah. So all of this stuff is also kind of witchcraft in a way. People don't want to think of that either. They're like, yoga is not witchcraft. Meditation's not witchcraft. And to me, I'm like, yes, it is. Like, it is mystical. And if you're doing it right, you will kind of open up channels. You will open up abilities. Yeah. And the big thing that I'm questioning is like, if you're doing these practices and opening up channels, you are like expanding, and you are you're just opening things up. And then it's like, once they're open, what can come in? Or once they're open, like, should this information have been given out, I guess. And it's kind of a scary thing to think about, but I'm still currently not very scared by it. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm just like, you know, this stuff is as old as time. You know, I don't know the true history of humanity. I don't really know who created us, what this planet is, if it's a globe or if it's flat or if it's whatever. And for sure, like, it's all things to consider. Yeah. And I'm trying to just consider them rather than just being like, whatever, man, like, do what thou will. Like, the do what thou will thing just keeps coming back to my head. And I kind of hate that quote, because I hate Crowley. But I'm just like, how can I hate Crowley when technically I've been kind of living similarly in certain ways to him, just like being like live for the moment, follow your heart, do whatever you want. Do what's best for you. And that's the other thing with the new age. It's like all about like me. And you're kind of worshiping yourself, like self-development, even though it's good, even though you should acknowledge things. It's a lot of focusing on yourself. And I've been promoting that. I'm like, learn your birth chart to learn yourself. Yeah. It's like, okay, you look at your birth chart, and you could look at your birth chart every day for the rest of your life and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's like, that's a lot of self-focus, you know, like it versus being like, how can I go out into the world and be a good person? Like, is my birth chart I think the birth chart really can make you a good person, but it's almost more of just like understanding your complexes and focusing on your complexes. And I just know my birth chart is there's just like kind of some things in it that I might have become overly focused on, you know, or like obsessed with in a weird way. Like it's easy to get obsessed with new age stuff, but you, on the other hand, you can certainly be obsessed with Jesus as a Christian, and they'll be like, good, keep going. Keep doing it. Like, be more obsessed. But I think a lot of us who are in this space are going through this, and this is like what the awakening really is. It's like, I need to know, like, I didn't even know that for example, when I downloaded the Bible app, which is like a free app. It can read the Bible to you. It tells you, you can switch the translations. And when you switch the translations, it changes a lot too, which is really fascinating too. And I'm like, okay, let's give this Bible a go. And I read Genesis, and it's talking about the firmament right off the bat. So it's like flat earth, and then it says God put the stars in the heavens and the celestial bodies to mark the holy days. And I'm just like, what? So it says that they were put there as a clock and to mark the holy days. And I'm just like, what the hell? And so I recommend people read the Bible, and it's such a trip. The Old Testament is like a trip. And it's wild when they kind of genealogically say, like, after Noah or after the flood or whatever, this offspring went off over here and started paganism. And I've heard Christian videos that are like, all paganism is basically the same. All the gods are basically the same. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, the pantheon of gods all kind of are the same. So that's a lot to deal with too. I'm just like, because I've brushed up against, I don't like worship the gods, but like I've had altars in my life, you know, where I just like, this is my altar. And it's like, that's that's idolatry according to the Bible. And that's all paganism. So this like dichotomy that I'm working through, it's crazy that everything is either Christian or pagan, New Age, Luciferian, which is crazy. But a lot of people don't. I think I just have to decide if I'm like one or the other at a certain point, or if I can reconcile the two of them. Because even like I've been into Gnosticism, you know, Gnosticism is just basically saying that the God of the Old Testament is a bad guy. So you're either a Gnostic and you think the God of the Old Testament is a bad guy. Jesus can still be cool under Gnosticism. Paganism and gods and all the devas and daemons and deities are fair game under Gnosticism. Or you're biblical Christian, and all of those devas and daemons and fairies and aliens, they're just demons. And the God of the Old Testament is the only good guy. Everything else is deceptive. And I want to say, well, then I'm a Gnostic, because that seems very black and white. But then just when I realized like the history, like the Freemasonic things and like the Illuminati, like all these groups, like that was that Luciferian Gnostic thing was their religion. And you could even argue that like the founding of the United States was a Masonic project so that they could keep secretly practicing their Masonic religion, which if you read Albert Pike, they are worshiping Lucifer. So and even just like the Matrix, the stuff like the Matrix is like I just think me and you guys are in the same like sphere. So like we talk about the simulation, we talk about the red pill, blue pill, like that's Gnostic too. And even then like the Freemasons are kind of from that perspective. They're like, we are going against the controllers and and we are using these techniques and these occulted things secretly to do what we want. Our God is Lucifer, who freed us from the bad God. But when I see this new world order shit happening in front of my eyes, I'm like, can I still be a new ager when the fucking people that are doing this new world order are new agers? Like Blavatsky was a new ager.
Yeah.
So that's what's like blowing my mind about it. And I'm still trying to take a slow pace, consider all things, not go crazy with it. And I mean, I have not had a come to Jesus moment. So until, and even long ago, I was like, I'm not against Christianity, but I just haven't, like, I've had spiritual experiences that are like, that I can feel. I just haven't had that with Christian stuff. So now I'm like, okay, if I read the Bible, I will, or I'm open to that experience, you know, but it's just a lot to think about. And thank you for letting me kind of say it out loud, because I'm thinking out loud as we do this.
No, I appreciate it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. I grew up Christian, so I'm familiar with it, and I went from like Christian to not really believing there's a God to, I guess, New Age, and now like listening to you talk about Christianity, listening to some family members who are Christian, bring it back up into my life. I used to think prayer was just, oh, what is that going to do? You know, and now I catch myself praying. Like it's a way to connect to God or whatever you want to call it. But going back to what you said, yeah, we're living in this new world order, but intention, I really do believe, is everything. And if you want to practice this new age stuff, then yeah, do it with good intent in mind. And these freaking demons that are in charge of us right now, they don't have our good intentions in mind at all. So it comes out just demonic and Luciferian. But yeah, you're making me want to pick up the Bible again, because you should.
It's a good book.
It's been a long time since I've read.
Well, it's so unappealing at first glance.
Yeah.
Because even when I was younger, it's like, verily I say unto thee. And I'm just like, oh, like I want to read Eckhart Tolle telling me that like this is the power of now, man. But it's more hard for sure. But I'm telling you, like when you read some of the things, especially in like Revelations, I've always loved Revelations, because that shit is like, I think it's like certain personality types. Like I have like a kind of wild personality, and like I like its excitement and stuff. And they do have some of that in the Bible as well, you know.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is just like, it's all coming full circle with like this new world order conspiracy perspective, because we talk about them raping and killing and sacrificing kids and babies and stuff.
Yeah.
And you hear that and you're like, how could that be real? But then when you read the Bible, you're like, that was what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was kind of universal too. It was going on in the Americas. It was going on in Europe, in the Middle East. And the Old Testament is weirdly kind of like the God of the Bible, like crushing that or trying to destroy that. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, it's freaking crazy. So it's the new age, Satan, Lucifer is all about the gray areas, and all it's about like half truths and stuff. And I'm just really just like the half truth, or the flat out lie that evil doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think so many people unconsciously are believing that at the moment. And it's just like, it's all karma, man. Like we can just like come back, and it's like, we'll even it out, man. And it's like, okay, how is that helping us when we're in this world, which is like so fucked up right in front of us? And it's crazy too, because like a couple of years ago, I mean, like pre-2020, you didn't have to confront this. We could just be like, I mean, I was aware of the conspiracies. I was always a conspiracy researcher. So I was just like, I'm aware that there is a possibility that there are like archons and entities that these elites have made pacts with, and they sacrifice and rape babies or whatever, and feed these gods, and the gods pay them back in return, blah, blah, blah. And there was like that possibility of like real evil in the shadows. But now all those people who I associated with that stuff are out here openly being evil, openly, trying to create this fucked up new world order, talking about the new world order openly. And it's just like, am I somehow, by doing what I'm doing, by doing what thou wilt or whatever, am I on that team without knowing I'm on that team? Like, we all are like speaking out, anti-mask, vax, lockdown, mandate, whatever, and it's great. Like, there's tons of people doing that, including like new age channelers and stuff. But it's like, I just keep questioning, like, am I inadvertently on the bad guy's side without knowing it, which is, it's kind of a paranoid perspective and all that. But I think if there comes a point where what we're talking about now is the new age is promoted and pushed forward in the same way that like vaccines are, then I'm going to be like, I'm going the Christian route, because I think that's going to be like a turning point. And when we would talk, when I would think about what would this new world order, new one world religion look like, I automatically assumed it was going to be scientism, like atheism, scientism, worshiping science, humanism, materialism. But I have a suspicion, because none of that is actual bullshit. Like, materialism can't survive. And it was so popular, like when we were in college, remember, like, it was like the new atheism movement was like
Atheist
a hit.
Atheist
Plus. It was like a hit in like from 2006 to like 2013. That was like the thing. But then from 2013 until now, the new age, witchcraft, yoga, astrology really was growing. And now when I see these, like, there was a Facebook ad where they were like talking about astrology, and they looked like they were in like a freaking crack house, and they were like sweat. It was this like really cringy commercial where they were like talking about astrology and mysticism. When I saw that being pushed by Facebook, I was like, oh man, new age is fucking gross. I want to take a shower after watching that.
That is so weird.
But I think we all need to be really vigilant, and knowing that the new world order is real. I think we're all kind of on that page. I think if new age gets pushed forward by those same people that are pushing forward the rest of the new world order, like vaccines or whatever, I think we might all need to just turn into Christians, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately, it's like not sexy, but I think I see the other deceptions, and I'm debating whether I'm literally debating whether the Bible, or mainly just like Jesus and Christianity and Catholicism and everything that came after that, was that a psyop, or is this secret mystery religion that the Freemasons have been like building to build this new world order? Are we just like doing that, not realizing like how bad it might be on like a cosmic level? So
for
sure.
I hope this isn't like paranoid sounding or like freaking people out or like making me look I probably look crazy no matter what I say, but it's I hope it's not too crazy of an idea. But I'm certainly like back and forth wrestling with this. And as the pressure is put on us on a daily basis with this new world order, I think it's going to be more like choose a side pretty soon. I hope not. I hope this all just blows over, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, for sure. I really honestly, Dan, I appreciate your honesty in going into this struggle, because the fact that you're even having a struggle to begin with tells me that even practicing astrology, your heart is in the right place. And you don't want to feel like you're grifting people or anything like that. And so you when you don't do it because you don't feel it, that's the right move. But that's the same move that the new age kind of tells you, do what you feel. Well, you're feeling to not do it, so don't do it. I think that's the right thing. And I think the other thing I wanted to say and I wanted to mention is anything that divides us between each other it can be bad. And that can be some forms of Christianity. That can definitely be some forms of new age occultist type practices, you know? And I don't want you to fall into the trap of feeling like you have to label yourself anything. I was
going to say that too.
You don't need to label yourself anything. And from what you're saying to me, the thing that excites you about the new age part is the rush or the excitement. But the way I'm seeing you say it sounds to me like you're excited to have a relationship with God. Like there's a God, whether it's Christian God or just the God of everything, the God of all, you know? And you know that in your heart, that God is a good God and there is good and evil. I do feel that you're right about that, but that can exist in a new age form too. And I do fear that like groups like the Masons, like you said, are using this and they would easily transport people like us into their kind of false religion of the new age where we're worshiping the devil essentially. But I think if you have good in your heart, don't hurt anybody, don't steal from anybody, don't covet anybody, live your best life and do the best you can. I still always go back to one of my best friends that unfortunately I had a falling out with during this COVID thing. He said that he doesn't have a religion. He said that his religion is the same as Abraham Lincoln. I don't know how true this is, but I guess Abraham Lincoln's religion was when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that's basic true. We all know and we have it in our heart what is bad. Yeah. So we try to avoid that. And I think if you express everything that you do with love, because love is the opposite of fear, you can overcome anything. And that transcends labels, man. That transcends all labels.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that.
Dan, do you think there's a hell?
Yes. I don't think it's eternal. Well, I guess I don't know. I feel like there is a hell because I've kind of experienced it here in a way, including with like entity attacks or like demonic, or not even, I don't know, sleep paralysis type stuff.
Yeah, wow.
I feel like there's a vibration like that.
Okay.
That's very real, that you could literally feel. I think it's possible to be in a spiritual dimension that is hellish for sure.
Yeah.
What the rules are as to why you have to be there or go there or stay there, I don't know. So I guess that's my answer to that. And part of that is like from taking psychedelics. Like if you have a bad trip, you are in hell.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that's why I say yes to that.
For sure.
Oh man, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I know from listening to some of your episodes, you were big on Manly P. Hall in college and getting into the occult. Would you feel comfortable sharing some of those experiences that you had? Because I know there was a point where you just completely put that book down and just shut it off.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a very long story.
For sure.
But it was a very dark. Well, no, Manly P. Hall was not dark. That was like enlightenment to the maximum.
Okay.
which to me, and I'm question, like that's the tricky part of what may be this Luciferian reality.
Yeah.
Is that it can take you, like that feeling of enlightenment can be pure bliss, you know?
For sure.
And I had that, and I had it also, like I picked up that book when I was a super senior in college and was doing yoga for the first time after breaking my neck, and like, whoosh, like literally bliss, like healing, no more chronic pain, no more sadness, no more depression, bliss. Mm-hmm. And I just one day had this like very clear intuition, which who knows what that really was. This was a spirit guide, AKA a demon. Like you don't know, this is what I'm realizing. You don't know what you're dealing with here. Yeah. But I had this like, almost like whisper in my ear, like go to the occult bookstore. There's like, just do it. And I felt good. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And in Boulder, Colorado, I went to this place called Lighthouse Books and just like marched straight into the back of there. And there was this book, and on the cover it had this alchemical artwork with the zodiac on it, and just this stuff like resonated with me so strong. And I was just like high, blissed out on life at that point from this first time doing yoga.
Oh, we're having a little earthquake here.
Sorry, Dan. There's an earthquake going on right now. No joke.
Thank you for listening to the False Reality Check podcast. I'm Buffalo Rambler.
And I am Legs.
And you can find all our work on falserealitycheck.com, and for all our social media connections, Twitter and Instagram at FRC Pod, Float and Gab at False Reality Check. We're also on YouTube, and we have a Telegram channel and group. We're starting a locals community, falserealitycheck.locals.com, and you can reach us at frcpodcast@protonmail.com.
Also, you can listen to us on all streaming platforms for the most part, Spotify, Apple, Google. Our RSS feed is on our website, so please go, falserealitycheck.com.
And you can support us also at falserealitycheck.com/support. You can create a reoccurring donation or one-time donation on PayPal, Cash App, and we do accept crypto. Our wallets are located there. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to making more content for you.
Appreciate you all. Thank you for listening.
We love you.
Love you.